an initiative geared toward empowering women by bridging the gap between Africa and the diaspora, is giving hope to younger and older women in Africa and America, thanks to Mariama Keita. She's a Guinean-American and founder of the initiative How I Make a Difference, in short, HOIMA. Mariama, a native New Yorker, also represents the current generation of Africans in America who are dedicated to advancing the continent's sustainable development. And she joins me now to tell us more about the initiative. Mariama, welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you so much, Esther. It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's start with bridging the gap between Africa and the diaspora. Is this really achievable?
Yes, I will definitely say that it is. I think now more than ever, there's a huge momentum of African diaspora and initiatives that are happening globally. The president of Ghana just announced, the year of the return. And you have such a vibrant, I would say, diverse group of people within politics and fashion making headways as a diaspora. So it's achievable. I just think that everyone has a different entry point. And so defining what that is, what HOIMA does, is my specific contribution in bridging the gap.
So there are so many Africans in the United States and so many of our children born of African immigrants. And I'm just wondering, why is it so hard to hear so many of them, reaching out to the continent? How do you make that call?
I think it first comes from the will and the desire. I think a lot of times, there's some diaspora who innately just have this desire to give back, but they don't know how. And so you can do it in a small scale or a large scale. And I think for me, HOIMA was inspired through my graduate thesis. I had an opportunity to really chart the success in the history of women's movements in Conakry, Guinea, which you don't find largely talked about on an international scale. And that led into the inspiration of, okay, I see there's the gaps that are happening on the ground. How can I kind of be the interlocker of making these things visible? And so with that, it was pretty much capacity building and empowering women within the continent as well as in the United States.
And I'm happy that you mentioned Guinea. You have roots there, and
yes,
you've been there. And there's a clamor for women to get into leadership positions, including young women that you see going to college and saying, I want to take some leadership position. How do they, is this achievable when you go there, when you talk to them, and is your initiative able to even kind of push these women further?
So I think my initiative has two-pronged approach. One is actual workforce development, and my job has been really taking that tradition of this girl, or youth, I should say, in a larger perspective, into giving them tools, how to take what you have, refine it, and then make yourself applicable in a space where you can compete. So that's one dynamic. Content, and specifically Guinea, I would say the challenge is access and resources. And so when you have patriarchal societies, you have different settings that necessarily don't value the female voice, it takes a little bit more mentorship and other women in leadership roles paying it forward to provide opportunities for a younger generation of women to be put in leadership positions, which is not easy. But I think it starts with having a conversation, and then the next step is creating platforms to make those transactions more viable.
Now, let's turn to a section of the community, people with physical disabilities, and they're everywhere in every country. How are they being heard in Guinea in particular? Are their pleas being heard in terms of helping them get an education, helping them be able to do the work they can do given their physical challenges? So
I think outside of my entrepreneurial initiative, HOIMA, as a Guinean-American, I'm also an African diaspora. So I don't limit my experiences in just specifically Guinea. So particularly in the Ghana River Union, I'll give an example of Sierra Leone, where children as a whole, social services is a cultural challenge. Knowing how to care for someone that is disabled is not necessarily sensitized as a need and high priority. So I think what happens is diaspora play a key role in that, because as people we're nomads and travel globally, we have opportunities and resources to kind of be the missing link to how can we make these issues more a priority in country, but at the same time utilize our financial resources and support to contribute to those spaces. And so I will say in the Ghana River Union, it's not easy. It's one of the many social dynamics.
We should pay attention to it.
Exactly.
Mariama, thank you so much for talking to us on Africa 54.
Thank you.
Mariama Keita. is a Guinean-American and founder of How I Make a Difference, in short, HOIMA.